Hello, everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Dale.
And
welcome to It's So Universal.
So, this is part 2 of our discussion on narcissistic behavior, narcissistic personality disorder, and manipulative people. So we're just coming back because we felt like it was such a huge topic to talk about that we needed 2 parts to it. And so we're just back to kind of get some more insight on it, and also to kind of give you some tips and tricks a little bit on how to
deal with
it, heal from it,
cope, and what to do after you break free.
Yes.
Exactly. We also want to let you know that we are not doctors, we're not psychologists, we are just 2 girlfriends sitting having a discussion.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
and our experiences and what we've experienced
in our walks of life. Yes.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start off with where we kind of left off with last time when we were talking about some of the traits. We're going to continue with some more of the traits and personalities and behaviors.
Right. And
one of the main behaviors is gaslighting and manipulation. And that topic right there alone
is a lot. It's a huge topic. So, for example, I'll give an example for like myself in terms of how I have been gaslighted in my past, or how I have seen it happen to other people. It's really a form like, so say if you're in a relationship with someone and they have these traits, and they're really trying to I like to say like pull a fast one on you, kind of, sort of, because basically that's kind of what gaslighting is. And so, I can say we can be having a discussion about anything really, even if it gets heated and there's an argument there. So say you have an argument with your loved one, or your whoever you're in a relationship with, your partner. Yeah, exactly.
Your abuser.
And you're maybe arguing about something. So how I have experienced that that gaslighting is basically, by the time we can be going back and forth about anything, and like I said, like we talked about on the last part 1, it's like up is down, down is up type of thing. So it's a back and forth, but all they're doing is just really trying to get you to to me, this is just my own personal opinion, they're trying to either get you to come to say they're right and to their side, and just be like, okay, you're right, whatever the case may be, and they win the argument. And that could look like trying to make you, it makes you feel like it's just something is wrong with you. Like, basically that's what it does. It just makes you feel like something's wrong with you. And no matter how you try to tell them your feelings about a certain, whatever you're arguing about or whatever your discussion is, it always goes back to, but you X, Y, and Z. But you X, Y, and Z. So they're just putting it back on you and trying to take the responsibility off of themselves,
because they don't want to be held accountable for anything that they do, because they feel like they are not wrong.
Right.
They feel like they're never wrong. I'm right, you're wrong, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's how they think. They think that they're right. And really, to be honest, I think that even when they may think they're right, and I think there's a portion of them that know that they're wrong. One thing deep down on the inside, they really do know they're wrong.
They know they're wrong.
They don't care about that.
It's just the point of them being in control. They don't want to feel like, if they admit to being wrong, they've lost control.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So they want to remain in control, and as long as they can control the situation, they feel like they can control you.
Yeah.
They're successful in what they're trying to accomplish, and what that is to get you to feel insecure about yourself, to doubt yourself, not to believe in yourself, and feel so that you can start to withdraw.
Yes.
And feel like they are the one that you need to go to for everything. You know, because they feel like they're the smartest. They are the most right. You know, nothing that they do is wrong.
Right.
So as long as they can feel like they can isolate you from your friends and loved ones, and if they can feel like that you can have to totally depend on them.
Right.
And they're your only outlet.
Right.
As long as they feel that way, they keep control.
Right.
The problem is we have to take back our control.
Right. We have to take
back our control. And one way to do that is not to argue with them.
Right.
Then you throw a rock in their plans, you know, to be in control, because you know, you kind of throw them off kilter. They don't know how to respond when you don't respond to. They're just looking for a reaction, because as long as they can get a reaction from you,
yes,
they control the situation.
Yes.
They, you know, and it's sad. It's really sad that they feel like they have to control anyone.
Right. And I feel like the reason why they feel like they have to be in control is because they are not in control.
They're not
themselves.
They're not in
And
control
so,
with themselves.
They don't know how to control their emotions, and they don't know how. Well, they don't have emotions. I mean, I really feel like they don't really have them.
They don't,
because they don't have any empathy. So they
put up a shield and block all that. So you hardly ever, when they're emotional, is during the love bombing stage. That's when they become emotional with you. And because it is a cycle, that's why people stay in the relationship so long and not really identify with what it is because they do the love bombing, and they're in that cycle. They rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And you start all over again, because they become vulnerable during that time with only you. And it's not a whole lot of vulnerability that they're going to show.
Right.
It's just a little bit to let you feel like, to reel you back in.
Yeah.
Make you feel like they're going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to be different this time. But it doesn't. It doesn't. It just rinse and repeat, and the cycle starts all over again.
Yeah, definitely. And it's crazy because they get some sort of, like you said, I think they get some sort of joy, to me, within themselves, out of doing that. Like the whole gaslighting process.
I feel like they do too.
Yeah,
They're getting a satisfaction out of seeing you break down and seeing you not yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, because really the attraction that they have to you in the first place, their energy soaks their energy. How do they soak up your energy?
Yeah.
They're drawn to you because of your energy, and that's why after a conversation, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You're completely
depleted. Yeah.
Depleted. It's like you have nothing else to give.
Exactly.
And so that's why so many times we, as the victim, or I'm not going to say, I don't like to consider myself as a victim, but we are when you're going through it. You are a victim. And you the victim, you feel like, you start to feel, especially an empathetic victim. We're givers, and we try to heal.
Yeah.
We try to fix it. We try to make it right. We try to, and that's the cycle that keeps us in the cycle.
Absolutely.
We gotta get out of the cycle.
Yeah, and it's very hard to break that cycle. It is. It's just hard. I mean, first of all, you have to recognize it. Like I think we discussed that before. You have to recognize that you're in it, and that this is what's happening, because like I said, I think the last part one is that these relationships can last forever. They can last a long time, because when you're in it, you don't realize how toxic it is. And I think as the victims or the people who have been dealing with the narcissist, I think that we think, I'm just going to say me, I'm just putting myself in it. I believed that that person would get it. It was always something in the back of my head that said that would be like, what, it was just hope. Let me put it like that.
We're very
I think
hopeful.
it's my heart. It was my heart just hoping that this person would see the pain that they were bringing to me and feel empathetic towards me and not want to cause me that kind of pain.
Because you feel like you love this person, and you want you thinking that this person loves you.
Yeah.
And you're very vulnerable to them. You show your weaknesses, and you show how much you want this thing to work. You're hopeful that it's going to work. You're hopeful that this is the last time.
Right. Exactly.
This is going to be the last time, because
because he got it now.
He got it. I finally got through him.
Yeah.
And this is the last time. And then
crazy.
you'll wait and wait and wait and wait and wait.
And it might feel like it's the last time, because he'll go back to that love bombing phase, especially if you threaten to leave, or you threatening to walk out the door, you threatening to divorce, or you're threatening to
get out.
They're
gonna love bomb you all
over again.
The rinse and repeat.
Yeah. And then it'll be good for a while. It'll be great, and you think, okay, finally he's catching on, or she's catching on, and then they'll go right back
to it.
Behavior.
Right back to the same behavior. I have an example. Girl, for many years, this is hard, and I don't want to get emotional.
It's okay. That's what we.
But I'm healed from this. But it's just hard to have to talk about it. And these are the little things that we should have caught on to for many years. But it's like I said, you're in that hamster wheel, and you're going, and you're just thinking this time is going to be this time is going to be right.
Yeah.
For many years, I was never told happy birthday.
Wow.
My birthday was completely ignored. My Mother's Day, I was never told happy Mother's Day. I was told, well, you're not my mother. But I'm the mother of your children.
Right.
But you can't say happy Mother's Day to me, and we'll walk outside and you'll say happy Mother's Day to the neighbors.
Wow. Nice.
You go to work and you'll say,
cool.
we'll go out, be out in public, and you'll say happy Mother's Day to everyone else.
Wow.
But you can't acknowledge and say happy Mother's Day to me.
To you.
My birthday is 4 days after yours every year. Doesn't change, does it? You can't say happy birthday. Well, I'll go out and do this big to-do for you on your birthday. And my birthday, I forgot.
4 days after you.
4 days after yours.
I can't.
And it's every year. Every year. And I'm thinking, it'll be different next time.
Yep.
Next year. And here I am in the same year doing the same thing again.
Yep.
Experiencing this. Those little things, they matter.
Yes.
They matter, especially when you go out of your way to make sure you have a great Father's Day. We go out of our way to make sure you have a great birthday. Like I said, we give and sacrifice so much of ourselves. We deserve to be treated better than that.
Exactly. Definitely.
We deserve to be acknowledged on those things. Valentine's Day. Don't think that I'm going to spend Valentine's Day with you, or, things like that. So it's things like that that we accept, and we don't have to accept that behavior.
No.
We don't have to accept that.
You deserve
Especially
better
when
than that.
then, like you said, when you start to leave, you go out to get a point to slander my name, like I'm the bad one. I did this, I did that. I was. It's
All on you.
blame it on me. Say it's my fault.
Exactly.
As long as it's over, baby.
Right.
Because when you start to when you know that you don't deserve that, it's not. You won't accept it. When you know better, you'll do better.
You'll do better. Yeah. And it's I mean, to me, like that kind of behavior is just downright cruel.
That's very cruel.
You know, that's just cruelty. Yeah, that's crazy. Not saying Happy Mother's Day or Happy Birthday or whatever, you know, and on purpose because
it's on purpose. You know it's on purpose. Hell yeah, it's intentional.
It's intentional.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
It's meant to hurt me.
Yes, meant.
It's meant to hurt me.
Yes, intentional, and that's a real. To me, I feel like when it's that kind of narcissism, that's that massive ego kind. That's like, you know, just bold about it.
Bold about it. Like I said, when you start speaking up for yourself, when you start saying this is not right, well, you're the reason why I did this. It's your fault. Then if you don't say anything because you want to avoid the argument, then you definitely don't deserve my respect because you don't even love yourself enough to speak up for yourself. So what do? Yeah. The best thing to do is leave.
Leave.
Leave. Get out of the situation.
Yeah. And it's, I know, and we said that in part one too, and I think sometimes we can say it because we've gotten out of those situations, so we know what it's like on the other side. But it's hard to do. It's easier said than done. So I get that. But I think the first thing for any woman who find themselves dealing with this kind of person and this kind of personality is first to recognize it. And now, because we have the internet and we have, you know, everything is social media.
Is at your fingertips.
Everything. Google is right there. That you, and this topic, this personality trait is being discussed more often. I think nowadays people can recognize it sooner than later, and you know, make your plan and get out of the situation, because like we said, it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. So
we don't want to do that. And so another personality trait is ghosting.
Ghosting.
Yeah, ghosting.
Oh, honey. That hurts.
Yes.
Ghosting is very deep.
Yes. I've had that happen to me in singledom. And that didn't feel good. And I, you know, things were going along what I felt was nice, and you know, we were having a good time. And then all of a sudden, I stopped hearing from the person, and I couldn't figure out what it was, except for immaturity. Because to me, that's immaturity.
It's very immature.
And so that was that was my first initial response to that behavior was, this is just immature. And so then I didn't realize that it had a name. And I was like, where is this coming from? And I don't know how I must have heard something online. I don't know. It just came up and it was like, oh, they ghosted you. I think somebody said that to me. I think that's what
I used to call it putting them on ice, being put on ice.
Yeah.
You know, well, don't put me on ice, because if you put me on ice, I might do something else. Right. You know, like, especially if we're not married.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Two fingers. I'm gonna find something else. So,
yeah.
But listen, another thing, you said ghosting. How about everything is going fine in the relationship, and then all of a sudden, this is what I said, dating you while whole time looking for someone else. I'm thinking everything is fine in the relationship.
Right.
But then the next thing I know, you finna go out of town and we broke up. It's done. The next thing I hear is you with someone else.
That's just trash. That's just trash. Anyone who does that kind of behavior is trash.
That's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
Like if you with somebody,
I'm like, I thought we was good. What happened? What happened? What happened?
exactly.
But then, niggas and flies, they come back. And when you're not aware, because you don't get no clear explanation, they always come back. But you're thinking, really? Because they know where it's good.
Yeah.
They know what they like.
Yeah.
They know what they want.
Right.
They know who I want to be in company with. And then like I said, they like your energy.
Yeah.
They want to soak up, absorb all of your positive energy.
And I think that's true. I think they know I definitely believe that they definitely know what's good. I don't know so much if they believe that. I don't know if it's just all about what they like, because I don't think they know what
they don't know what they like.
That's why they're constantly.
That's why they're constantly trying to find something better.
Yeah.
They're constantly trying to find something better, and they're not going to commit. They may tell you that just to get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they really wanted to be with you, there was nothing stopping. A man knows.
Absolutely.
When he wants to be with you.
Yep.
Long term.
I tell people that.
And it doesn't take 50 years or 40 years. It doesn't take that. But at that time, he's just doing it just for you. If you've been in an abusive relationship for so long, and pay attention to the signs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pay attention to the signs.
And that's what you said. That's big. I tell people all the time, like, because I talk, I'm a stylist, so I talk to women daily. So when I talk to women, I talk to all kinds of women, young, older, middle-aged, whatever. I have a plethora of clientele, from the young to the old. And when I hear stories and I hear women tell me things that I've heard over and over again, I recognize that personality or those traits of the people that they may be dealing with.
And especially if you dealt with it before.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It's like and then you've done the work and research, you know exactly how to label it.
And I tell women that have been in relationships for long periods of time that it's just a relationship. They're not married, and they want to be married. The woman wants to be married, but they're just with this man or living with this man, and they've been with him for 5 years, 4 years. I tell them straight up, he's not going to marry you. He's not. And I'm not trying to be mean but I'm going to be real, because what I do know is that when a man wants to marry you, it doesn't take him 5 years to figure it out. At all.
A real man, a godly man, they know what they want.
They know what they want.
They know what they want. And it doesn't take forever to lay it out. To lay that out.
It doesn't. And as a woman, if you with someone and you want to be married, that's what you want. I mean, if that's what you want as a woman. And that person is not, you've been with him for a minute and he's not giving you that, you need to really start reevaluating your life and
your
relationship and your future. Because if you are looking for someone to be committed to you in a marriage, you have a family together, and that person is not giving it to you, and you have invested your time into them for years, you need to reevaluate how you want to move from that point on.
And especially if your relationship is not thriving the way it should be in a healthy way, you want to look for a way. And I'm going to just say the best thing to do is just make the decision to go without talking, because especially if you've identified these traits and you've identified some traits you can deal with, you can work with, you can learn how to work with. I'm not telling you to leave your relationship, but if you have dealing with someone who is a narcissist and have many of these checks, it's time to make the best decision for your life and do what's best for you. And the best way to do it is don't talk about it, just do it. Because when you start talking about it, he's going to reel you back in with that love bomb.
Oh, yes.
When that love bomb, and it always feels good, because when you're broken, you're looking for validation. You're looking for that love. Yeah. Because this is the one you've had so much time with.
And it's almost like, for me, I just got tired of the apologies. I don't want to hear you say I'm sorry for 5,000 times.
I don't want to hear it.
Because you don't mean it.
I'm sick of you hearing. I used to say that. I'm sick of hearing you say I'm sorry. Give me a chance to say I'm sorry. Let me fuck up to you. So you can say, so I can say I'm sorry. You can see how this feels. I don't want to hear I'm sorry anymore. That's just some empty words. Because you turn around and you do the same shit again.
Exactly.
And get me out the hamster wheel.
Yes. Stop telling me that, because I don't believe it. After a while, I don't believe you.
It's just words.
I don't believe that you're sorry for what you keep doing to me, that I keep telling you that you keep doing this to me, and you keep hurting me, and you just keep doing it, and then you turn around and say you're sorry, and then you do it again.
And then they ask, well, what do I need to do to fix it? Well, then if we, as women, because we want to fix it, we want our relationship to work, we've invested our time, we want it to work, but you may say these things, then... And it may happen for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, 2 months, a couple of months. But then it goes right back to the same thing. That's the rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. That's it.
You got to get out of the hamster wheel.
Rinse and repeat. That's what
rinse
it is.
And repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was going to say to you, like, the whole, when you said you thought everything was fine, and then you look up and you're like, okay, that person's with somebody else, or they didn't.
They just broke up.
Just broke up with you. To me,
ended the relationship.
Yeah, and just out of the blue without any.
It was my fault. I was displaying insecurities.
You were, and not him.
I was displaying insecurity, signs of insecurity.
So that means, instead of coming to me as a grown-ass man would do, and we discuss this together, if you think I'm displaying insecurities, if you're having a problem with me, like grown-ups,
let's talk about it.
Let's discuss it. You decide to carry your ass.
But at that point, all you can do is just like, it's okay. And then I found myself saying, what? I was insecure.
You didn't even know it.
I didn't know. What I do? Then you start questioning yourself. Well, maybe I was. Was I? Did I?
What did I do?
Then I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm apologizing for being me.
Right.
Never again.
That part.
Never
when you
again.
said apologizing for being me.
I'm apologizing for being me.
Yeah, that right there.
Never again,
is a huge thing, because they want you to be something else. They don't want you to be yourself. They want to mold you to what they want,
because then they control you.
Yes.
You become them.
Yeah.
And then they control your every move. They feel in control of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take back your control.
Yes, you do.
Keep your control of yourself. It's your body, your mind, your freedom.
Exactly.
It's you.
Yeah.
No one. It's you. You own you.
You own you.
You govern you.
Yeah. You control yourself.
And this is even in work relationships.
Yes.
You can't.
Parent-child relationship.
Yes.
And how we have a relationship with our parents, and of course, you know, we're gonna as um, children, we follow what our parents tell us to do, of course. But even they can be narcissistic. So even they can have those traits and you not even know it. For me, I felt like one of my parents had those traits, and I did notice that. And well, I didn't know what it was until adulthood, of course. As a child, I didn't realize it. But looking back now, I see, okay, yeah, this person was very manipulative, not only to mainly to not only to us kids, but to their spouse, my other parent too. So, and that showed a lot in, you know, their relationship, and so that trickled down for us as kids, and it's traumatizing, really.
It is, and it's also, you know, that's how those behaviors are taught.
Yes.
So as kids, you think that's okay. You think that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how a man or a woman shows love.
Right.
You know, in that way, and that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not a healthy environment, and you want to create a healthy environment for your children.
Yes.
And always let them know that they have choices.
Yeah.
Because that's where it stems from.
Mm-hmm.
When you surrender your control over to someone else, you're giving them you're giving your choices, the freedom of choice away.
Right.
Because you're under someone else's control.
Yeah.
And that's not, you know, parents, a lot of things that they only know what they know.
They know. Yes.
So, you know, we can't hold things against them.
Right.
We just have to learn to be better.
Right.
And to do better. That's why you have so many, I'm going to do what my parents didn't do, or, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's constant. Like, even as a kid, I said that. You know, like, as a kid, I was like, I'm not going to treat my kids like such and such.
Yeah.
I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You know, I think my children said the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what kids do. But again, these are learned behaviors. This is all learned behaviors. And so, you know, our parents only did what they knew how to do, which is what they were taught to do, or what they
from their parents.
So yeah,
and it goes way back. That's why there's so many narcissists out there undiagnosed.
Yeah,
because they don't feel they have a problem.
Right.
They don't feel that they're wrong. And that's why you see so many parents who feel like if their kids don't do exactly what they say do, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. They want to, you know, beat the kid down or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a problem. It's a problem.
It's a problem. It's abusive. It's abuse.
Yes.
It's abuse.
It's
But
abuse.
if you trace that abuse, that person that's doing the abusing of a child or a spouse, if you trace it back, they probably were abused in their childhood.
Exactly.
So, and it's just a cycle. It's a cycle that trickles down all the way down. And unfortunately, or let me take that back. Fortunately now, in this time that we're in, you know, it's all about our mental health, and people are thinking more about their mental well-being.
Right.
Over a lot of things. And so we're in a stage in this time period in the world where people are getting the help that they need mentally.
Right, and it's good. Do some self-healing.
Yeah.
Self-work. Do the work.
Yeah.
You know, it's so worth it. It's so worth it in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
It's so worth it. You'll be much more positive.
Yeah.
You'll be so happy with. You'll be able to experience things that you haven't experienced before, because you've opened up your mind to receive and accept new things and do new things and see new things.
Yes. Yes.
You got to get out of that hamster wheel.
Yeah.
We do.
So we want to talk a little bit about the healing side of dealing with someone who is a narcissist, and you being in that type of relationship. I'll say, for me, my healing came. I want to say probably my healing came before I got out of the relationship, because I started to value myself more. And I started to say the mistakes that I made in the relationship, I was very, I took responsibility for my own mistakes. And that's a part of
growth.
That's a part of growth, and that's something that's difficult for a narcissist to do. So if you're with someone that's a narcissist, they're not gonna take responsibility for their actions. And so for me, it started before I got out of that relationship, and I was like, okay, I'm taking accountability for my own actions, but I'm starting to understand where they came from or what happened in the relationship. And I started to value myself, and again, value my peace of mind over everything. And when I started to realize that I deserve better than that, and it was helpful for me, even though I was still in the relationship. I after a while, I knew that me working on me and healing myself was just my step. That person was not taking the same step. So therefore, where do you go when it's like that? You have to be out of the relationship. There's no other place to go, because if you're working on yourself and you're self-healing and they're not, it's gonna be the same thing.
It's kind of for nothing. That's why it's best to get out of it, so you can find some peace and find some tranquility in your life and be able to escape the madness.
Yeah.
You really have to escape the madness.
You do.
One thing you always have to do is to find if you don't know if you're in that situation, ask yourself some questions. Ask yourself, is this edifying me?
Right.
Is this edifying us? How are we both being edified in this relationship? Ask yourself questions like, is this relationship, am I valuable in this relationship?
Right.
Ask yourself, when you're having a conversation, is the conversation always about another person? Does he or she even look to you? When you're telling them something, do they have any feedback or any about you?
Right.
Because when they don't get involved and engaged in you, it's time. That's a red flag. It's time to do something different, and it's okay. It's okay, because there is healing for you on the other side. Yeah, it is.
And one step you can do, I believe, when dealing with a narcissist, and this kind of makes them angry to some degree, but it's necessary for you, is basically, there's a word for it, but what I say is just basically ignoring them. You just have to ignore their behavior.
You really do.
Don't let their behavior get to you. And sometimes that's easier said than done. However, if you recognize these traits, if you can identify that you're dealing with someone who has a narcissistic personality, then, or they just have these traits. If you can recognize that, you can understand that ignoring their behavior is peaceful. It's best for you. It might get under their skin. They might not,
they won't like it.
They will not like it, because they're not in control. They're not controlling you.
And that's a good point, Nicole, because when you ignore the behavior, you don't feed into the fire. They don't have. It's like a fire. It has to come down.
Yeah.
But when you respond and you react, that's what they're looking for, is a reaction from you. Yes. And if you don't give them the reaction, by participating in the foolery,
Yes.
they lose control.
They lose control. Yeah.
They lose
It's
control
like
of it. It's like putting a lid over the fire.
Yeah. And it just takes it down. Because the more you argue or whatever with them, it's just fanning the flames, and they enjoy that.
They enjoy that. They enjoy seeing you upset. Have you ever noticed that everything can be going great? You can be having a great day planned, and you look amazing, and they want to take that from you,
Yeah.
and just so you can be knock you off kilter, just fuck you up a little bit.
Right.
Just because, they have control. Maybe your confidence is super high today. You're feeling really good about your outfit. You're feeling really good about your hair. You look great.
Right.
And you're feeling good about yourself. They have to take that, they have to knock it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times,
Or they won't say anything.
Yeah. They won't acknowledge.
They won't acknowledge it.
They want the attention on themselves. If they walk in the room and see, damn, she look good, but I can't tell her.
That's sad.
I ain't finna tell her. I ain't finna tell her.
That is so sad. What kind of man?
But then,
this woman she look good. I don't
exactly.
understand.
But then another thing, when you do tell a narcissist, you can pay them a compliment. It doesn't mean anything coming from you. When you go out the door and everybody else can say the very thing that you just said, oh, they reveling in that. That's when it means something to them, because you're just supposed to say it.
Right.
So that's how they feel about complimenting you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you that, because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's why they're not gonna do that. But you telling them, you can tell them, oh, baby, you look good. You look good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything until someone else on the outside of you tell them. So someone outside in the club or in the store or wherever you're going, if they tell them they look nice, oh honey, you'll see them
Light up.
But they can't accept that from you, because that's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to tell me those things, and you're doing it because.
But they're not supposed to return the same affection to you, which is crazy. But the logic is crazy. There is no logic into a person who has this personality disorder, because, like we said in the first half, their thinking is not. They don't think the same.
They think different.
They think very differently. So, what we would consider normal to them is not normal. Their normal is normal.
Right. Their normal is normal.
We're like, that's not normal.
They have a disorder, and it's out of order.
Right.
It's out of order.
Yeah.
Their whole thinking concept is out of order.
Yeah.
That's why it's a disorder.
Right. And I was gonna say, I saw this person talking about this on social media, of course. I don't remember where I was at, but he is a narcissist, and he had making videos, and he's a diagnosed narcissist, a clinically diagnosed narcissist, and so he makes videos to help people out. He said that he did not know that that's what he was displaying. I guess his behavior was what he always thought. He
Is
just
this
thought
the
that way.
guy with the dreads?
Yes, I think he does have dreads. Yeah,
I've heard him.
Yeah, and he said that when he realized that what that meant and what was happening, his wife, they were having an argument. She was leaving. He said this is his testimony. She was leaving him. She was packing it like, I'm done, and she was ready to walk out the door. And she said, "This is so hard to live with a narcissist." And he was like, "A narcissist? What's that? I'm not a narcissist. You are." Because in his mind, that meant something bad. Like that was bad for him to be labeled a narcissist. And then he said he went and started researching it and looking it up. And he said he said to himself, okay,
I am. This is
He was
deep.
like-
but it took him a minute to,
Yeah.
because he didn't want to believe it at
Exactly,
first.
yeah.
But it took him a minute to say, I have a problem.
Yeah. And-
Because I'm doing this, and I
Yes.
don't want to be doing this
Right.
to my wife.
Right.
I love her.
Yes.
I
And-
don't want to lose her. I
Yes.
don't want to hurt her.
Yeah. And so he had to, and he honestly said, I mentioned him because what he said was, when he first looked it up and first went into therapy, because he said
he started
going therapy,
Yeah.
and he said he actually felt better, because he said all his life he had this feeling, and his thought pattern, his thinking was different, and he couldn't understand why he was thinking so different. But when he realized what it was, that he had this disorder, and started therapy, he was happy, because he said, I identified what was going on with me. He said, now, no cure for it at all. There's nothing I can do to cure this, but what I can do is modify my behavior and change some of my behavioral patterns. So when I say that people don't understand that it is truly a disorder, and it can it's a personality disorder, and you need to really, if you feel like your thinking is off and it's not quite like what everybody else's is, then go find some help, because there is a space for you. So the people can get help from
There's
this
a community.
disorder. Yeah.
And you can really be out helping someone instead of
Yeah.
hurting people and hurting the next person. And even though you're not intentionally doing it, it is abuse.
It's abuse.
It's abuse.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I'm not gonna say you're not intentionally doing it, because sometimes when you're being an asshole.
Right.
When you're being an asshole.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they do it on purpose.
Yes.
It is. This is true. I believe that they intentionally act certain type of ways to get reactions out of you.
And you can't excuse the behavior so where it feels like they get a pass to do this shit, because it's not right.
And I'm not in no way saying you shouldn't hold them accountable, because they should be held accountable.
And hold yourself accountable, because when the shit hits the fan and it comes back to you, if you were on the receiving end of that, you wouldn't like it. But can you imagine two narcissists together?
I'm sure that's, I don't even know if that could even work, because to me, in my mind,
can you imagine how they both
trying to get attention?
Yeah, and recording each other and on the slide and doing shit that's to provoke you to anger, or to provoke you to.
That would be the most chaotic, most volatile relationship, and I'm quite sure there are
people out there
like that.
I'm sure they are, because
I couldn't live like that. Oh my God,
it's torture. They're torturing each other, but you get what you get what you put out there in the universe. What you put out in the universe is gonna come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true. So so in the healing process for you as the victim, if you I don't know if people want to categorize themselves that way. I say survivor, as the survivors. You just have to take self-inventory for yourself. Hold yourself accountable for your misdeeds or whatever you have in the relationship, and then move on from there. And don't allow them to make you feel guilty.
Yes, because that happens all the time. And then you feel that's why you end up saying I'm sorry. You end up apologizing all the time. You end up apologizing for them making you feel like shit.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you did something to deserve it.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself.
Yes.
Because you haven't done anything. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's not your fault. Forgive yourself. That is the beginning of healing, is to forgive yourself and don't. It's okay to identify yourself as being a victim.
Right.
But don't stay there.
Yeah.
Move out of that category, because once you've been victimized, you made it through, you become the survivor.
Yeah, you do. And that's important, to definitely forgive yourself. That is truly one of, I think for me, that was a huge thing as well. Like, looking back on my relationship, it's like, okay, I will own up to my misdeeds or whatever in the relationship, and I take responsibility for them. And I did all I could do. And once I said to myself, I did all I could do.
You tried to make it work.
I tried to make it work. Everything, counseling, whatnot, everything, and it didn't work. And so I was free. Once I said to myself, I did everything I could do. This is not working. It's not going to work, and I'm not going to allow you to continue to make me feel guilty for anything. I have forgiven myself. I have talked to God about it. It's done. It's over. It's done. And I'm moving on.
And you can move on freely and without any regrets, without any guilt, because you didn't deserve to be treated that way.
That's right.
You didn't deserve to be put through the anguish that you've gone through. You didn't deserve it. Mm-hmm. So don't blame yourself for any of that BS.
Not at all.
Don't blame yourself. Forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's you've lost your identity, so you think that you were the cause because you've been told that for so many years that you were the reason, you're the cause. So you have to forgive yourself for anything that you accepted. It's not your fault.
Mm-hmm. And I think that what probably burns a narcissist up the most is probably for women and men too. I don't want to just make it about that, because there are women out there that are that have this personality disorder. But I think that when we start to pull ourselves back away from them and out of that relationship, we ignore their behaviors. They stomping around like children, like somebody.
They throw tantrums.
Their bicycles or something. They throw these tantrums, and you just ignore it. You just treat them like you would a toddler who's throwing a fit. You back yourself out. You start working on yourself, your inner healing, inwardly. That's scary to them, because that's like, well, damn, what's she doing? She ain't.
And she ain't talking. She ain't. I can't light no fires up under her. I can't get up under her skin. And because you don't do the opposite of what they're trying to get you to do. Yes. React the opposite way.
Yes. They said, I heard people say, men should be careful when their women ain't talking.
Noted.
When they not talking, that's when you need to worry.
When they start saying, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's when it's the time. That's when it's time to be careful. Concerned. Because
that means she's already in her mind. Her bags is packed. It's just a matter of time. She has checked out.
And believe me, checked out.
Completely.
That means unattached. Nothing you can do. You can't.
Nothing.
When a woman's fed up. When a woman's fed up.
Hey. Exactly.
It ain't nothing you can do about it.
That's right. Even though we don't rock with R. Kelly. But y'all know.
You know the song. It's a classic.
It's a classic, yes.
And it's telling the truth. It's telling the truth.
True. But yeah, for real, that's when they need to be careful when they, okay. Have it your way. It's a Burger King day. You can have it your way.
Your way.
Yep. Next thing you know, she's out the door. Period.
Pooh.
Yeah.
So, yes. So some of the ways to, let's see. Some of the ways to get past this, let me look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote some cue cards so we can stay on point.
Yeah.
we talked about the guilt and shame. You're going to go through a grieving process.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes, it is a grieving
And
process.
you always think about the good old days. If they can go back, we can go back to the good old days. That's okay.
That's
You're gonna.
okay.
That's a. Just
Those
a
are
feeling.
nice memories to have.
Memories.
It's nice to have those memories.
But keep it
that's all
pushing.
they are.
That's just
Memories.
all they are.
Yeah.
Because there is no good old days. Because remember, the good old days is going back. It's the rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
So just remember the good old days as just that.
Yeah.
The good
The
old days.
That's right. Exactly.
The person can exempt. They can
Display.
display. Thank you. They can display PTSD
Yeah.
because
Oh, most definitely. If you've been in an abusive relationship, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist for a long period of time, you are going to have PTSD. You just are. You are.
You are, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you can get through that.
You can get through that. You can go
There's
to
light on the other
therapy.
side.
Find a therapist.
Find a group,
Yeah.
a circle that you can get into.
Yes, you will
And-
have PTSD, and you will have triggers. There will be certain things that trigger you. I mean, I have still like some things I didn't even just childhood stuff, even from stuff from childhood, and I'm like, oh, what's
What's
and
going
I
on here?
had to realize
I didn't mean to feel like
I
this.
had to realize, Nicole, that's PTSD. Yeah, you will have PTSD.
You have intense loneliness or
Mhm.
disconnection from others.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Because guess what? That's what his purpose was for, to isolate you.
Right.
Sometimes we need, when you're out of it, you need to isolate.
Mm-hmm.
Do some self-healing.
Yeah,
Take that time
that's the best time
to do some self-healing, self-reflecting, and just know that there's light on the other side.
Yeah.
It gets better.
Yes.
You also fear of being alone
Yeah.
and unloved, because
Yeah.
those are the things that he said to you so many times, like,
Yeah.
who's gonna love you after you? Nobody's
Right.
gonna want you. You
Yeah.
have all these kids, you have baggage, and nobody. It's okay.
Which is the craziest thing to me, that men do that kind of nonsense, like they don't have baggage. And the kids that y'all had together aren't theirs.
But see, that's the problem with when a person like that, they don't feel. I'm not gonna say all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but they disconnect from the children too.
Yes. Sometimes they can.
Sometimes they disconnect from the children too, because unless if you have a court order, follow the court order.
Right. Exactly.
Follow the court order.
Yes, make them be responsible, regardless. I mean, because sometimes, some, not all, but some will disconnect from their children as well. If they have this disorder and it's really bad, if it's on a higher scale, sometimes they will, and they'll use the children as a cudgel against against you, their partner, women or men, and so make them be responsible for their children, and that if that's going through the courts to do it, that's fine too.
And also, sometimes you can't make people do things that they have court order to do. Just know that even at some point in their lives, something will click. And it may not be the way you wanted to and when you wanted to, but they'll come back around to the kids.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, yeah, that's
Eventually.
true. They will, but it's that's
It's unfortunate that they have to ever
Yeah.
disconnect from
Yeah.
the children, because the children are innocent.
the children have nothing to do with
Don't have
it.
anything to do with it.
And then that's a
But
whole
then-
nother topic, because then you have to talk about how the kids are gonna
Are affected by that.
Yes, exactly.
But like I said, drop the victim label.
Mhm.
You're not a victim. You're a survivor.
Yeah.
And once you realize that you're Okay, drop the victim and become a survivor. And when you become a survivor, you can move on, and you can even take your experience and use it to help someone else.
Absolutely. You should anyway.
Yeah. Use it to help someone else, and you know, write a journal, start journaling. And so that way you can be able to, you know.
That's a good tool to do even if you're still in the relationship. And you're fighting and you know that you need to get out of this relationship. And you
Go ahead.
Okay. And you're fighting and you know you need to get out of this relationship, then you need to start journaling. Journaling is a good thing to do. It's really good. Because you're writing down all your feelings, your emotions, and everything of that nature. And so that kind of helps you, that will kind of help you
realize how far you've come and you made it.
And put your feelings out there on paper.
Yes. But it'll help you realize you survived. You survived. You made it out safely, and with your mind and your spirit, so you can move on. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Escaping. This one's deep. Escape behaviors like substance abuse, overeating, compulsive gambling. Avoid those.
Oh, yeah. You meaning like in terms of like when you get out of the situation, or even while you're going through it?
While you're going through it.
You don't want to develop those kinds of behaviors.
You don't want to develop that.
Yeah.
But you'll be tempted because you're escaping your reality.
Right.
It's a way of escape your reality, and it's something completely different than what you've done.
Yeah.
If you do drink, you may start over drinking.
Right.
If you do gamble, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with doing those things, but you may overdo it.
Right.
And you don't want to do that because you're going from one bad behavior, one bad situation to another one.
Situation. I find that people that that are in those kinds of abusive relationships, they are using something as a crutch, and most of the time it's alcohol, drugs. It could be drugs.
Sometimes it's overeating.
Yeah, sometimes it's overeating.
And that's why I was saying it's self-mutilating.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just, you're using those things because as a way to escape your reality and to escape the situation, and you have so much, on you emotionally that's your way out, is to do that. And it can even be deeper than that. Sometimes people escape into the church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm not trying to say that's bad, but I'm just saying, like, that might not be. You need help, and you need to come out of your situation, because a lot of times, and that could be a whole nother subject. A lot of times when you are in a bad situation and you are escaping to the church, well, they aren't telling you to get out of the situation, because you can't leave, you can't get a divorce.
Yeah.
What you mean?
So
no.
Sometimes that's not the best advice you can get.
Right.
That's why I said join a circle of friends, or not mutual friends, of course not, but friends and family who you really trust and who really love you.
Yes.
And surround yourself with that, because you need that validation, you need that love, and you need that support.
And
because you have been broken.
Yes. And and this is something that we do as Black people. I'm just gonna say it like that, in Black families, is that everything is shh, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. What goes on in this house stays on in this house. Don't do that nonsense. If you're being in an abusive relationship, if you're being with someone who's a narcissist and they are treating you emotionally, abusing you, tell it. Tell your family. It's okay.
Yes. The worst thing you can do,
they already know anyway.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is try to cover up. Because then you're making excuses for the behavior.
Right.
And that's why you continue in it. You're making excuses. And people only want you to be quiet and not talk about it because they want you to continue in it, and there's no reason.
That's the main thing why a narcissist tries to isolate you from your family and your friends, is because they don't want you talking to them about their behavior. And
they don't want others to see it because eventually it will get so, even in conversations, they can slip up and say things like, this motherfucker here said this, and it's be like, oh, I was just playing. I didn't, it was just in conversation. Right. But who calls they made a motherfucker?
Right. Exactly. And not only that, sometimes, well, that can happen, but a lot of times I find that those personalities, those narcissistic people, they have a tendency to, people love them. Like, outside people love them. Like,
yes.
If you're not in a relationship,
they're very
like
charming.
Honey, people are like looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
They're very charming to the public, in the public eye. But when you get behind closed doors, you this, you that, you this, and this. That's a side they don't want people to see.
Yeah.
So because they're very charming in the public, and people gravitate to them.
Yeah.
Because they can. What is it called? What is those people called? Those men that can. What did you say? High value.
Girl, that's what they're not called that. That's what they call themselves.
Yeah. But they feel like that, and so there's an air about them that makes them the public gravitate to them.
Yeah.
So they're very charismatic.
Yeah, very charismatic. Very charming, like you said. Yeah. So you have to just, recognize these signs and do, go talk to someone, like I said, discussing it with other people or researching it online, and there's lots of things you can do to get yourself away from someone.
Get in a support group.
Yeah. Because
you're not the only one. You're not alone.
No, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
And there's so many people out here dealing with this this kind of behavior, and it's really becoming very prevalent, which is very sad to me. And it's, I mean, like I said, it's always been around. Like I said in the first part of this, this behavior is not new. It's been around a long time.
There's nothing new under the sun.
It's just it's out here. It's been labeled, so we can put a label on it and know what the characteristics are. Watch out for them, and don't fall into that trap. And,
right.
So that makes it better. The information age is good for some things. For some things it is. So yeah.
And if you suffer from low self-esteem because you've been belittled for so long and put down for so long, these are signs of lack of sense of self. Reconnect with yourself.
Yeah.
Take some time to reconnect with yourself. Re-identify. Discover who you are.
Who you are, yeah.
And if that means do new things, doing some different things other than your normal routine with your partner.
Right.
With your abuser. Do something completely different than what you did. Change up.
Absolutely.
Change up. Start fresh.
Yeah. Move away from them. Just find yourself doing things by yourself. If you can do that, that's a good thing. I mean, I know that's hard sometimes if you have children and you have things,
it's hard sometimes because you've been so insecure and doing things, having someone else control you. And so half the things that you were doing is not things that you really wanted to do. It's because you were doing it with your mate.
Yeah. Well, start doing things you want to do.
Start doing things you want
I
to do.
did that too, to some degree. It's like, I want to do X, Y, and Z.
Make a bucket list.
Yeah.
Make a bucket list. A small, you don't have to do something big, but make a bucket list of things that you like to do and reconnect with yourself. And check out that that bucket list. Have something that you're going to say, I'm going to do this, and X, Y, and Z by next month.
Right.
And do it. Do it. That's
Yes.
in the relationship, if you haven't already. Now I'm going to give you some tips. In the relationship, if you haven't already. That's the best thing you can do is just get out of it, because it's not going to change.
Yeah.
You'll find yourself in the rinse and repeat cycle for so long, and you don't want to stay there.
Exactly.
Get out of the hamster wheel. I already talked about not labeling yourself as a victim, because you'll stay there. If you keep sitting, you'll start feeling sorry for yourself. You don't want to be in that spot. You want to move on as a survivor, and then survivors survive.
Right.
You talk about their survivor, being a survivor.
Right.
And you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can play it.
Well. Oh, okay. Yeah. Set clear boundaries. So definitely you want to do that. You want to, so yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Go no contact. That's how they say, go no contact. So when you get out of, that's the part of setting the boundaries. When you have decided that you want to move yourself out of that relationship, go no contact. Just have no contact with that person. They will lose their mind. It will drive them crazy, but you can't.
It's okay.
You can't.
I've got, ooh.
you got that.
Yes, I'm about
this. Yeah, so go no contact. Yeah, because if you decide that you wanna, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So if you send that text message back and he be like, what you doing? Text message, and you respond, or whatever you respond, that's just you falling back into the trap.
And it starts to cycle all over again, because he feels like, well, you accepted me, you responded to me, hey baby, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't have no contact.
Yes.
Cut the contact.
Yes, because they are looking for your reaction. They're looking for you to react to, and they'll act out. They'll text you. They'll flood your text messages, your inbox, whatever. They'll ride by your house.
Yes.
They'll find you on your job. Be
yes,
careful
them
with
drive-bys, them house drive-bys. Oh.
They'll do all that, but you just stand your ground and do not have any contact with them, because that's,
you're putting yourself right back in the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You don't need that drama. Save yourself. Because then you have to do the steps all over again to heal. To go through the healing process all over again.
Yeah. We talked about that.
We talked about this one?
Seek seek support, of course.
Avoid retaliation.
Yeah.
You don't want to retaliate.
Yes.
Because that's the reaction that they're looking for. They're looking to provoke you to anger.
Exactly.
And when you get like I said, that's putting fuel on the fire again. Then you start you right back. You don't want that drama. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, surround yourself with people who validate you. You definitely want to do that. You want to get, like you said earlier, about a support group, whether it's family, friends, or just a group of people
who've been abused by a narcissist.
Yes.
create a consistent schedule and make sure that you can keep it. So busy yourself doing something, doing things that's going to be beneficial to you. And like I said, create a new hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Do something that's going to take you busy you with your idle time.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, like you had said earlier about rediscovering yourself. So do that. Take that time when you're doing that. When you are finding new hobbies or journaling, things of that nature. That's your way of rediscovering yourself, and that helps you to not fall back into those same traps of dealing with that person. So
anticipate grief, because it is common.
Yeah.
And they usually dissipate as you move through the process of healing. And express your emotions. We said that. I can't say that enough. Express your emotion, because suppressing your feelings, suppression leads to depression.
Yeah.
So you don't want that. Don't keep it up and keep it inside, because then it takes root and turn into a whole other monster, and then you're fighting illnesses.
Right. Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Pretty much
Covered it all?
everything. For the most part. Let's see. I mean, you talked about so much. Like we said before in the first half, this topic.
Protect your social media. Did we say that?
Oh no, we did not.
Protect your social media. Block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Block, and don't accept strange, weird friend requests, because that's probably him on a ghost page.
Yeah, exactly.
On a fake page.
Yeah, you definitely.
Him or her on a fake page.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you definitely want to do that, because they're trying. When you go no contact, they're trying to find a way to get to you. So if you have blocked them, and that's what no contact means, blocking them from your text messaging, from your Facebook page, from your Instagram,
any
TikTok,
social media,
all of that. Block them from everything, and don't accept any weird friendships.
And avoid conversations with mutual friends that you have, because that's just a way for him to use your friends to throw dirt or just to see what you're doing, and avoid mutual friends. Get some new friends.
Right. Yeah.
And take time before getting into a new relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Take time to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Heal yourself.
Yes, definitely. Without a doubt.
Go through the process. Life is meant to be felt. So when you feel pain and when you're at your darkest, lowest moment, that's when you can find your strength. You'll find your strength.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's painful, and it just bringing it back to experience. It is a painful process, but in the end, it is worth it. When you learn who you are, and as we talk, it's the situation is that you listening, you would think narcissistic people are the most horrible people, but it's not even that. Like we said in the beginning, they just really, it's a disorder, and sometimes they don't even know they have it. They don't even know what's what. It's just you as on the receiving end of their personality are the one who's taking the brunt of it all. So at the end of the day, you can only take care of you.
Take care of you.
Have your own self-preservation, and realize that, like I said in part 1, you don't want to be feeling how you're feeling. So if what you're feeling is lonely and you're in a relationship, you still feel alone, sad all the time, heartbroken. I mean, just truly heartbroken.
While you're in this relationship,
then something is not right.
It's a red flag.
And I'm not saying that relationships don't go through bumps. We all know that. There's always things. But if most of the time that's how you feel, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
So, yes, you definitely, it takes time, but it is worth it in the end. Choose you
Over everything.
Choose you over everything.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Mhm.
If you, especially coming out of it, you may feel like you've been a little selfish, but you've been selfless
Yeah.
for so long. So go ahead.
Be selfish.
Be selfish.
Be selfish. You have to be.
You have to reconnect with you
Mm-hmm.
and redefining who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Love yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself good.
Right.
Treat yourself. You
Be
deserve
gentle
it.
with yourself.
Be gentle.
with yourself.
Yes. You deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
You are a jewel,
Yeah. Yep. And
a
you.
precious jewel,
Mm-hmm. And you deserve the best.
and you deserve the best.
This topic is a deep topic, and we've done our second part on it. So we hope that we've been helpful.
We hope that you got a clear understanding that you survived.
Mm-hmm.
You survived.
Yeah. And we'll have more topics like these because this is really important with good mental health, for your mental health and, to help to heal yourself. And we just appreciate you all watching. And subscribing and liking and
commenting
all of that.
and sharing.
Yes.
We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for supporting us.
Yes.
And we really, really appreciate it. Keep watching.
Yes.
God loves you.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself.
Forgive
yourself.
Yes.
Forgive yourself.
And we love you.
And we love you. Thank you and good night.
Night.